and carry on up into Quebec. And now we got our earthquake up in Quebec, and trace it back, goes back down to the New Madrid seismic zone, then back across Arkansas, back down around through Texas, and up all the way back to the West Coast and beyond. We go all the way back to Alaska. So the edge of the craton starts up in Alaska, goes down through Colorado, goes down, makes a bend through Texas, goes back through Arkansas in the New Madrid seismic zone, and then up the East Coast. That's where your earthquake ultimately came from. It came from over here. The wave went down, around, back up, and over, and it dropped off earthquakes all the way along the way. This is the last 48 hours worth of earthquakes. Now it's gone up to the northeast, as expected, as the forecast called for, which you can't see now because they're all gone. 2 of which I deleted, 1 of which got vaporized by YouTube. The one for New York got vaporized by YouTube. They do not want you guys knowing that earthquakes can be forecast. You know why? Every egghead professional in the world went out on a limb, said it couldn't be done. Signed their name on it. Now they look like jerks. And plus, I'm a high school graduate only. I never went to college or anything. They cannot have a guy like me coming out and refuting them like that. So they've done everything they can to try and stop it and hide it, and including vaporizing my video that warned for the East Coast to get hit, which should be generating millions of views and make me a ton of money, rightfully so, and instead it's gone. Dude, not that I'm in it to make cash, but dude, I deserve it. Come on, man, I warned for it, man. Okay, all right. I'm recording, that's right, I need to. That's right, we're recording, we need to stay proper on YouTube so people like me. Because it's all about being liked. Screw the science. Now let's go look on the West Coast, speaking of that. So 4.4, 4.1, striking on the West Coast. This is in the past 2 days. This is an increase from where we were, which was on land, nothing. Out in the ocean, last week, we had 5.7 level activity out here. So out in the ocean, a 4, that's it, that's low. Meanwhile, the wave went across the plate and has now reached all the way over to at least Quebec, dropping off a 3 as it's heading out this way to the X here. So we should see a new earthquake strike up in the northeast, off the coast of Labrador or along the coast of Newfoundland, and it should be in the 5 range up by Greenland, out in the middle of the ocean. I don't think people will even care about that. Over here on the West Coast, though, I can just go ahead and get the warning out now for everyone. See where both sets of rings overlap here for these 4s? It comes in right here at Oregon's coast, south. Looks like new 6.0 plus level activity is going to be coming in here in the next several days. West Coast is about to get hit with 6. And I'm coming to that determination by what's going around on the rest of the planet, which we're now dealing with mid-range 5s and 6s across the board in the West Pacific. We've gone up. Look, 5, 5.3, 5.3, 5.3, 5.2, 5.2, 5.2. We were at 4.9 and 5. So we've gone up almost a half magnitude across the board at every location, including China. How much energy do you think it would take to increase everything from China back to Fiji on a half magnitude basis, take it from 5s up to 5.5s or 5.3s? That's a big increase in energy. The white-colored earthquake struck today. The pink-colored earthquake struck yesterday. Can you see where we're bouncing around between? Yesterday, today. And it's going to bounce back. And the halfway points between each set of earthquakes are going to be filled in with new earthquakes. So, in other words, right here where all these rings overlap, new break is going to happen. Here, where the rings overlap, new break is going to happen. Here, where the rings overlap, new break is going to happen. China's going to get hit 3 times. Here, where the rings overlap, new 6.5 plus due in the next several days in South Japan. Down here, down to the south, where we have an open area in Philippines, we're going to look for up to 7.8, 1 magnitude larger than the deep earthquake that struck here on the Izu Ridge and the Mariana Trench. Deep earthquake usually means shallower, larger earthquake next to the deep earthquake. You can see it raised high off the globe there, or off the planet. That's a deep earthquake. The higher they are off the planet, the deeper they are into the earth. And so we have to watch here for a 7.8 and here for a 6.5 in the next several days. Same principle applies to the south here. Everywhere where the rings overlap, we're going to have a new earthquake that's bigger than what's on either side. So we have 5.2 on one side and a 5 on the other. This means 5.3 plus is going to strike here. Over to the east, same thing. 5.2 on one side, 5.0 on the other. 5.3 plus, going to strike there. Here we have like 10 fives. 3 sets on one side, 3 sets on the other. We're going to get a huge break here at Papua New Guinea going into Indonesia, and it will most likely be in the upper 6 level as well, 6.5. Somewhere after the 7.4, we'll just see a new 6 roll in here, and everybody will ignore it if it's out in the ocean. If it's on land, it might make the news, but the earthquake that should dominate the news cycle this coming week is the big one that hits as a result of this new deep earthquake. Further on over to the east, out in the middle of the ocean next to New Caledonia or Vanuatu, we have a deep 5.6. This means a new 6.6 is going to be incoming here, where the 2 rings overlap in the next several days. New 6.6. So how many is that now? I keep having to add more 6s to the mix. 3 to 4 of them have already hit. We forecast 9 of them. My forecast is gone. So you don't know that I issued a forecast for 9 different 6s and 3 of them have already hit in 2 days' time. But who cares if the forecast is gone? The people don't want to really know anyways, at least as far as I can see. So going over to the United States, West Coast, over here, Pacific Northwest, Oregon, Northwest California, we're going to watch for 6.0 level activity. Now, let's have a little fun. Let's go look up some of these earthquakes and just see what's at the earthquake epicenter. I'm going to start over here, over on the East Coast, at South Carolina, North Carolina border region, where most likely this coming week, a new 5 is going to strike at the South Carolina, North Carolina border region. That's in the forecast that got deleted, in between these 2 earthquakes. So just find the halfway point between this set of quakes and this quake. Boom, right there. That's where we're going to be getting the 5 in the next several days. Over to the west, New Madrid's seismic zone has started to swarm out. And swarm is a relative term. We have 4 earthquakes reported. This is more than we had in the past few weeks. And I told my viewers to watch for, by tomorrow, a new swarm to show up of small earthquakes. Shouldn't be that big of a deal, but there is something here at the town of New Madrid that most people don't know about. Do you guys want to see it? Well, next to the town of New Madrid. Let's go pull the coordinates and show you what's down in southern Missouri. Very strange things are down in the New Madrid seismic zone, aside from the earthquake zone. Come along with me on a voyage of discovery, and we're going to find out what's there. Here we are. There we are. Here's the town of New Madrid right here. Well, let me turn our borders and labels on. See, there's New Madrid. So right here, coming out of town, you've got the New Madrid High School, which is in kind of a strange geometric shape there, but we're not worried about that. See this next to the high school? See what it's called? Mounds Cemetery. Now, I found this when the earthquake started below the mound and went below this road. So this is how I even found this place. The Mounds Cemetery from a long, long time ago, where they've built a water tower. And there's the mound. So in case you don't know about the mound, the actual large Native American mound that's in the town of New Madrid, and where they've built their own graveyard next to it, and they have the water source, or the water tower, I mean. And the water tower thing ties in with star forts. So if you don't know about star forts and bastion forts and the ancient Tartaria and all that good stuff, I don't know what to tell you about that, but I will tell you it has to be thousands of years old, and it's 6 miles by 9 miles long. Let me show it to you. Here it is. Now, before you think this is from farming, these are actual foothills. They go up 500 feet on all sides. This was an ancient 500-foot-high bastion fort. Now, I'm going to measure it for you to prove that this is what it is. It is, well, not perfect 6. I'm not doing a perfect measurement, but it's 6 miles by 9 miles on all sides. And it's in the ancient bastion fort shape, and it's where the river used to go a long, long time ago, several thousand years used to go through there. You can see it. And it was apparently a place where they gate-kept the river. So you got the mound here at New Madrid. You've got the ancient bastion fort here next to New Madrid. This is the spot where the biggest earthquake in U.S. history happened. Then, look, there's another one, but this one is 300 miles long. St. Louis is here on the back right side with the Cahokia Mounds. Over here on the left side is the Bastion Fort and the other mounds. Then you've got Kansas City over here. Down here is Little Rock, Arkansas. Out here is Tulsa, Oklahoma. And this five-sided bastion fort shape is 300 mile long. In the middle of it, down here, Fort Leonard Wood Army Base and Training Area. So this five-sided bastion fort is huge. It's 300 miles long. It's leftover remnants from, pre-flood. I'm guessing because I don't know. Pre-flood, which means there was a flood. But this one is just 6 miles by 9 miles. This is a small one. This one here. The big one next to it, that's just the back side of it. So that's in the area where the biggest earthquake in U.S. history ever happened. It's in the area where the solar eclipse is going over. The solar eclipse went over 3 months before the New Madrid earthquake. I'm not saying it's related. Somebody else is saying that, or it could be. But we do have to make note that the other shapes that are here are indicative of some kind of frequency that goes through the plate at that location, hence all the mounds. Very low frequency is what we're talking about. Very low, ultra low frequency going through the plate. I know, it's mind-blowing, right? I said we're going to have some fun. We're going to go look this stuff up. So now what would you do if I told you that everywhere across Texas and Oklahoma are drilled? All of these earthquakes are next to drill points. I'm going to pull the biggest of the bunch, and we're going to go just prove to you that there are drill points there as we go to the west, over to the west coast, looking up the earthquakes. These are the smaller earthquakes, right? The ones you don't hear about on the news. Why don't they tell you about it? Well, when you zoom in on the earthquake epicenter and you see something like this, you might start to ask questions. Tanks, pumps, jacks, pipelines, all kinds of little pads across the ground, and then they're generating electricity above the surface a few hundred feet up with the wind turbines. Very low frequency. Then goes down into in-ground cables. Nothing go wrong there with all the drill points and the long shafts with pipes that go down into the ground, acting like VLF antennas in the ground. Oh, no, nothing go wrong there. But when we have tens of thousands of drill points here, every single one is a different drill point for oil and gas. This is why they don't talk about it on the news. This is why you don't hear about the threes that are striking at the drill points. That's just one of them. I'll go grab the other one. I'm just randomly grabbing the quakes, and we'll go look them up. Again, Oklahoma, Texas, all of these earthquakes are directly next to drill points. Just in Oklahoma and Texas, though. So, do you call them earthquakes? They're induced seismicity from drill points. The earthquakes are many kilometers down in the plate, though. So Mother Nature's wave is coming up through the plate to meet the drill point halfway across the sky, if you will. And that's where they touch, and that's where the quake hits, down below where the drill points are. So more drill points. You see all the pads. Every one of these is a different spot where oil and gas is being extracted. Injected, too, they're injecting chemicals into the ground to do wastewater disposal fracking. So I just showed you the 2 threes, but you can go look up the rest of the ones. They're all at drill points. Same for in Texas. This is a no-brainer. In Texas, we know about the millions of drill points that go from West Texas. Fort Stockton, where the crack in the ground formed. Do you guys know about this? A 15-mile-long crack in the ground formed across the area where they're doing just huge oil extraction. They try to blame it on groundwater missing. Let me just show you the general area that we're talking about here. Again, down at Fort Stockton. This is, again, somebody, you guys may already know about this if you didn't know. But just anywhere down here. And the amount of drilling through here is insane from there north. These are all drill points for oil and gas. So when a crack in the ground forms over in West Texas and it goes all the way down, 20 miles all the way down to here's Fort Stockton. And all around Fort Stockton are more drill points. So giant crack in the ground forms there. I'm not shocked. It's the edge of the craton. And the wave is coming down, making a bend, going back up, and following our arrows. The path. Now, what have I already showed you? Trump's golf course got hit, directed energy weapon, precipitating an earthquake down below an area when I'm warning. That's a message and a half right there. Can they do it? Yeah, they can, according to Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Beard, not me. I get my information from the military, and his lectures are on my channel if you want to see them. And down to the west, southwest we go. We're looking for an earthquake to strike between these two. I did not look this up. Should we go look up the South Carolina quake, see what's going on? Jenkinsville, South Carolina. Do you guys know about South Carolina and the nuclear material there? It's the plutonium hotspot for the United States. It's where they refine and reuse a lot of the materials. Let's just zoom in and see what's here nearby. What's this? What is this place? Oh! Oh! Oh, shit. Oh, God. All right. Hey, look, sorry, I don't mean to step away from the microphone, but seriously, this is how you get in trouble. This is how you make scientific discovery. Two things at the same time. We are at the VC Summer Nuclear Station. Bravo, man. Bravo. Proving my case. I'm glad I looked it up. If I wouldn't have looked this up, you guys wouldn't be mind blown right now. Well, let's go look up the other one over in North Carolina. Go see what's over there. It's on the edge of the Craton in North Carolina. Wow. All right. Science, guys. Observable. This is how you do it. You observe something and you see it happening over and over again next to nuclear power plants. You then have to figure out how it's happening. And we did. Very low frequency, ultra low frequency in the plate. Here's a huge lake. It could be a water weight earthquake. There's a Fontana Dam. What are they doing there? Oh, electrical generation. Look at this. Huge, huge hydroelectric generation. That's big. All right. Is there anything else here nearby? I mean, that's enough right there. You got a hydroelectric power station there at the end of the lake. It's such a big lake, I wouldn't be surprised if they had some kind of nuke thing in there. Are we by Oak Ridge? Where's the Oak Ridge National Laboratories? It might be an entirely different area. Who knows? Let's go find out. No. It's right on the other side of the range. This is the big nuke place here, guys. This is Nuketown. National Security Complex. It's parallel to it, right across the border. Never mind. Let's just move on. Let's just get on out of here. We're going to skedaddle on out of here because, man, it's starting to get hot. It's getting as hot as a rod in a reactor. Okay. Got to calm down. Calm down. Let's go up to the Pacific Northwest and talk about the earthquakes coming in from the Northwest. How about a line of earthquakes coming in from the Northwest, going down through Montana, pointing into the park, into Yellowstone National Park. Do you see this? This line of quakes? Now, you should also see there's another line of quakes coming in from the west, also pointing in towards the park. So it's almost like an arrow in its own right of earthquakes over the last 7 days, pointing into Yellowstone National Park. The magnitudes are topping out at the same size that's down in Texas. 3 and 3.1, exact same size. 3 and 3.1 up there, 3 and 3.1 down here. 3 and 3.1, well, now 3.3, up to the north. 3's across the plate, after the 5 across the plate. But where is this striking? Where are these hitting? Well, if you look in Idaho, guess what's in Idaho? Mountains. But there's something below the mountains. The magma chamber for Yellowstone exists down below Idaho, central Idaho. It comes up to the surface at an angle. It actually, the feeder for Yellowstone, the feeder for the whole magma chamber system, comes below Oregon, then goes below Idaho, and comes up to the surface at Yellowstone National Park. These earthquakes here at the Chalice Reserve are above the deepest part of the center of the feeder for Yellowstone. So when I see activity here, going 3.7, going up to the surface, that means something's coming up from down below over off the coast, and that takes us back over here. So we can trace this back. Simply put, guys, it's a game of connect the dots from here back to here. And you can look back to here and watch stuff hit out here, and then you'll see similar-sized quakes spread over, down, over, and up. And that's what led, again, to New York getting hit. We're going to go over on the West Coast and just look at these clusters of earth. to New York getting hit. We're going to go over on the West Coast and just look at these clusters of earthquakes. What's going on in Washington? Washington? Washington. Okay, let's go put it in and see. I believe this is going to be taking us below a very famous volcano. Yes, it is. There's Mount Rainier, and we are on the flank of Mount Rainier on the south side, right next to it. Now, we were below the crater 2 weeks ago. We went back into the crater, and there was a series of small earthquakes down below the crater, up inside of the mountain. And don't be alarmed. It doesn't mean it's going to erupt. We see small earthquakes strike at these spots as the wave spreads out, hitting the volcanoes, causing small activity. Down to the south, we're at Mount St. Helens, inside the crater of Mount St. Helens. Again, it doesn't mean St. Helens going to erupt. These are small earthquakes striking as the wave is passing through and causing a light perturbance inside the crater, down below the crater of Mount St. Helens, for instance. That's where this is right here. Now, most people don't know. This thing erupted back in like 2000, was it 09? Was it 07 or 09? It actually erupted in 07 or 09. They've got it on the USGS channel, YouTube channel, if you want to see a video of it. Down to the south, we go down to Mount Baker, is that? Okay, let's go find out. Oh, the Dallas? Oh, Dallas? We're going to pull the coordinates and just see how close we're taking us to the volcano here down to the south in Oregon. I don't know, so the only way to know is to look. That's pretty far. I usually look 40 miles. What's right here? What's going on over here? What's this? Oh, a huge hydroelectric power station again. You kidding me? Wow. Hey, look. There's also a huge set of high-voltage power lines going right through the area. 1, 2, 3, 4 huge trunk lines carrying transmission lines. Okay. Well, I'd say that it's more related to the electrical generation than it is to the volcano far away. How many is that now? Dang. Let's go over to the east and take a look. Arlington, Oregon. Are you seeing a common thread? I'm glad I looked these up. We were going to go look this up for fun, but this is turning into science again. We're seeing more and more power stations. What's this place? Chemical Waste Management Facility. Oh! Oh my God. How much? This is just getting... This is getting insane. Okay. Let's carry on. I'm glad I'm recording. Nobody would have believed it. Oh, an explosion. Thank God. You know, it's bad when we're like happy that it's an explosion, right? Some kind of quarry, maybe. Let's go look it up and see. Oh, chemical facilities now? I have to figure out why. Obviously, they would have some kind of power there going on. They'd be going down in the plate. What's this? Okay, an explosion at a quarry. That is the quarry right there. Okay, that is actually believable. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's a natural gas storage facility. Oh, God. I'll be right back, guys. I'm out of here. Later. Peace out. Okay. What do you do when you find this kind of shit? Do you show everybody? Oh, wait, I'm live? Oh, genius. Genius, how many people are in here? Hopefully nobody's... Oh, I got cut. Maybe they turned my live stream off. No, there's 6,000 people in Waka. Okay. I was hoping for the best, but... Well, let's go over to Utah and just see what's going on with this swarm spot over at Milford, Utah, with a negative earthquake where they're sucking in energy somehow. You have a negative earthquake. It's a calculation thing. Don't worry, guys. They don't have a portal sucking in energy here, I don't think. But let's just go see what's down in Milford. Hope to God something else is... What's this? What are those? Oh, wow. Pipeline, drill point, and... Look at that. The Blundell plant. Look at this. Another electrical generation station. This is from steam, where they're generating a boatload of power using steam, geothermal in the ground. And they have pipelines that go out to the drill points where they collect the steam, where actually they probably inject water to get the steam there. We got the geothermal wells all throughout here, and then it looks like they got some chicken farms and some other stuff going on. Or is this a pump house? We'll never know. I think those are chicken farms on the side. But you'll see they're doing a lot of electrical generation here. All right, wow. Well, so we have a swarm next to the electrical generation plant there. Dude, how many is this? Should I go look up the earthquake up in Quebec? What's up in Quebec? Saint Boniface. How do you say that in French? Saint Boniface. Hey, I'm moving up to Canada. You ready? Just offended all the French viewers. Don't worry. I don't speak proper English either. I'm equal opportunity offensive. Here we go. What do we have going on here up here in Canada? Break out your Molsons. Eh? Get your Molsons, guys. I don't see anything here of any significance, but that doesn't mean much. I'd have to spend a lot of time looking. I'm just looking for a power plant now. Again, with the common theme, what do we got? Some kind of huge power station out here in the middle of Canada that I don't know about? I don't see anything of significance here nearby, but like I said, that doesn't mean much at all. Oh, wait. What do we got going on here? It's centered around here. Hold on. Look at this. I just noticed this for the first time ever in my entire life of looking at Canada. Look at this. Right here. Do you see it? Hold on. Here, 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 here. It centers around this. What is this? Is this something that I'm just capturing for the first time that nobody's noticed? Look at that. It's a giant ring that centers from the center where the earthquake is. Let me show you an example of one that's more pronounced, where they say it's like a, well, they say this one's a meteorite impact here and here. But I say that the whole Hudson Bay is one, and you can just see the folded up edges on it. And that this was one too. The one next to it are just small ones. And that this one's a big ancient one from a long time ago. I've never seen this before. I can't believe I just now noticed it. So let's zoom in again. Here, 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 here. That's huge. Wow. I'm just learning all kinds of stuff today. Trump's golf course, nuclear power plants, geothermal power plants, hydroelectric power plants. Earthquakes next to the volcanoes, but not so much. We're just at the power plants. That's where it is. And then we've got the drill points. And then you've got your weird Indian mound earthquake. Let's go on the West Coast where we might find some natural, actual earthquakes. Let's go up in California, see what's going on up in Belden. My God, now you know why they don't want me to look up earthquakes, right? This is why no one else is going to do it. None of the shill channels are going to do it. They'd have to go step all over the toes of big oil and big power, and they're not going to do it. They're going to get shut down. They're government funded. Where are we? We're on the edge of Lake Almanor. Let's go ahead and turn on our borders and labels at this point, just so we can see what's going on nearby. Oh. Are you kidding me? Look how this is set up. Hold on. We got the high voltage power lines. What do we have going on here? It looks like mining. Oh, my God. Okay, so we got the high voltage power lines going through the mountains at this location. And then we have mining right next to it. We have tailing piles that are set out on the hillsides. There's got to be some kind of mine here. Maybe old? Maybe it's old mines. It's looking a little younger there. Tailing piles there with fresh runoff ponds. Okay, we've got mining going on here, but I don't have place marks or labels on what mines are there. Let's just turn them all on and just see. Butte Creek, Fisherman's Campsite. Got the Pioneer Cemetery over here on the other side of the mountain. Okay, all right, that confirms it to me. I just needed to see. All right, so earthquake next to the mine. Well, I said we're going to look for natural earthquakes. Well, let's just keep looking, and maybe we'll find. Natural is a relative term because all the earthquakes, quote unquote, are natural. They're happening down on the plate, but they're being induced at locations, either whether it's drill point, power station, Trump's golf course. What's this? See this? This is Steamboat Springs, but look what's right here. Geothermal electrical generating turbines for the steam that's coming out of Steamboat Springs. And they've got so many of these. They're doing a huge amount of electrical generation here for Reno. Steamboat Springs is the volcanic field, but the electrical generation there is why we're having the quakes there, most likely. Jeez, okay, let's go over along the coast and see what's going on over here, this big stack of earthquakes. Oh, the geysers of California. Must be a bunch of geysers there. That must be what's causing the activity. Let's go verify, make sure there's geysers at Geysers, California, because I know there's going to be some people who get a little bit skeptical about this. Wait. There we go. People who are skeptical about Geyserville, let's research the coordinates. There we go. There's Geyser Peak. What are all these? Wow. More pipelines that go to more drill points that go up to taking steam up the hills, because steam is a riser, and it goes up to the, let me see if I can find one. There we go. Geothermal turbine, where they're generating more electricity using steam out of the ground. And they've got these all over the hillsides here as they're generating a boatload of electricity here in Northern California. And that's where our earthquake is. Earthquake, big stack, huge. Well, up here along the coast, I think we're not going to find any electrical generation out in the ocean, are we, along the coast? Ferndale, California. This is the fault. This is the famous San Andreas Fault itself. Here, let me show you the San Andreas. Here's the earthquake that we're going to look up right up here. And off the coast is the 3 or whatever it is. The plate boundary, the San Andreas, goes down to the south, down through the Bay Area, and carries on down through east of L.A., down to Southern California. That's the San Andreas. It's also the plate boundary. Just so you know what we're looking at. So now we're going to put the coordinates in for this earthquake up in Ferndale. Or are we? Control V. And let's go see what's there. Along the coast now. Already showed you. We're only dealing with the plate boundary there, so there shouldn't be much else here. Okay. Got an estate there up overlooking the ocean, do we? Sugarloaf Island. The original lighthouse. Okay, we're not too worried about lighthouses, are we? Looks like a radio antenna there. But we would expect that along a peak along the ocean, so that's not too weird. What's going on there? What's going on here? Why are we doing that? Look, it's playing it all the way up and it just goes all the way. What the heck's going on? That's old. Let's carry on. Is there anything else here worth mentioning? Down to the south. If I saw a big military facility or something, I'd start to get worried. This is now, I think, one of the first natural earthquakes that we're actually looking at that doesn't have anything suspicious directly next to it. What's this? Okay, it's just houses. I have to verify, guys. There's nobody that's going to tell you what's at a spot. You have to go find it. If there's anything there worth mentioning. Out off the coast, volcanic field. We already know this. Out in the ocean, 3.3. There's no power stations out there. Down to the south we go. We go through the Bay Area, and we're in a line going from the opening of the harbor, it looks like, of the bay. Is that right? Sure is. Let's get the coordinates for that and just go see what's there. Oh! What a place to triangulate it from. 7 kilometers northwest of the San Francisco Zoo. Have you ever seen them classify a location based upon something like a zoo? I don't think I've ever seen the USGS do that. What a random thing to see. That is so weird. Okay, let's go see what's there. It's out in the ocean. This is where they found those methane bubbles coming up a few years ago. It certainly is. All right, that's all that's there. It's right along the coast. This is where the methane bubbles were detected, going up all the way up into Washington. So they found them here. They found them up along the coast, all the way along Oregon, going from San Francisco itself up to Seattle. Methane bubbles that were coming out of the plate here. Is there any kind of military facility or anything else nearby worth mentioning? Of course, we got the lighthouses. That's not too weird, although there's going to be Tartarian researchers who say that it is. Further to the south we go. We're strictly along the San Andreas. I shouldn't need to show you the earthquakes along the San Andreas. There are no big power stations along the San Andreas, and there's no big chemical storage facilities or drill points except for when we get down here. We get down here where the 1.7 is. This is where the drill points start. And in California, most people don't know about this. They've drilled the hell out of the area next to the San Andreas. Dare I say millions of times? So here's the San Andreas. Okay, you can see it in the topography. Branching off this way over to the east, this way over to the east, this way over to the east. It's all drilled for oil and gas. And when I say millions of times, I am not exaggerating. Right here is just where we start. And then we go further to the south, and here's the San Andreas, and the drill points go right up to it. All of this is drilled. Look. All of that, all of this, all of this. Down to the south, they've done the whole mountain range this way. Here's what it used to look like. Just natural rolling deserty foothills. And then here's what it looks like when they come in and drill it. So all of these are pads where they've scraped out the top of a hillside. And it just goes on and on and on. They did the whole mountain range that way. Then here's the San Andreas. They go right up to it. These are all drill points. Here, let me zoom in and prove this. Maybe we can get a ground level view. Yeah, there you go. Saudi, California. California, Arabia. Actually, we're putting them to shame. We have more than they do. So that being said, earthquakes going right down to the point where the drill points start. And then they pick back up down to the south, the southeast tip of the valley. Notice that there's a huge open stretch where there's no reported quakes. That's the spot that I just showed you where all the drill points are. So guess what's down at the very southeast tip? I'll show you. Down in the southeast tip of the valley. It's where the drill points stop. Down here. Oh, just as a point of reference, here's California again. And the very southeast tip of the valley. Our drill points just literally stop right there. Down around the bend, all of this is drilled. Going across the fields, through the farm fields, through the desert. You see the drill points. And they carry on back over to the west and meet up with the ones I just showed you. So we go around the south bend of the valley. This is all drilled, and that's where these earthquakes are, down here at the southeast side. So what's going on is the wave is coming down, going over to the drill points, being facilitated through the drill points down to the southeast tip of the valley, and taking this wave from the San Andreas off over to the east, which then goes over here. I think they did that on purpose. Personally. That a long time ago, a geophysicist or a geologist or somebody, seismologist, figured out at the oil companies and with the U.S. government that there's a seismic wave that flows across areas, and that they could direct it by doing the drill points like perforations. And that the byproduct is getting oil and gas, but we also have a side benefit of directing the seismic wave away from Southern California. I think they did it on purpose that way. I think they drilled it on purpose to direct the flow, which means they knew about the flow and kept it hidden, and I had to find it publicly and get the beat down for finding it. Anyway, regardless of what you think about it, take a look at the last day's worth of earthquakes, and you can see it points like an arrow over to the east through Nevada. So let's go over into Nevada and see where it's pointing to. these earthquakes out here in Nevada? What's over there? Anybody know? Oh, wow. Look at the name of the place. It's called Rachel, Nevada. Anybody ever hear of Rachel, Nevada before? Maybe if you've watched The X-Files, you have. Or if you pay attention to the weird fringe UFO channels, you may have heard of Rachel, Nevada, because this is Area 51, where the earthquake just struck. Below on the east side of the valley where you can't go. Over here. Oh, wow, look, they got a nice paved road right into it. Look at that. I wonder if they'll let me come on in. Think they'll let Dutch in? We should get a petition to let me in, right? They'll never let me out. I'm going to Naruto run to it. I don't need I don't need permission. I'll just, fast as lightning, I'm on my way. Okay, carry on. Southern California. Here we go. Let's go out. Okay, by the way, earthquake out at the Area 51. Totally natural. What about back to the west by southwest? Beatty, Nevada. What's there? Well, there's, if we're leaving Area 51, I don't think we could top that. That's the culmination of this update. Or is it? What are all these? What is this? Oh, the electronic warfare test range for the U.S. military? Oh, my God. It is. It's the electronic warfare test range for the U.S. military on the side of the nuke test sites. Here's our underground nuclear tests. You can't go here. We've got the underground nuclear test sites. All these craters are different underground nukes. Let me get our Google Earth community turned on. I can't believe it. An earthquake below the electronic warfare test range. Okay. So I'm just going to click on one of these craters just to give you an example. April 7th. Hey, wow. No freaking way. Dude. Today's April 7th. I just randomly clicked on one of these hundreds, if not thousands of freaking tests, and it was April 7th, 67. Ah. And we're at the electronic warfare test range. That's where this is. Water tower, it says. Electronic warfare test range. Do we have an entrant? Do we got a car level? Go figure. There's no street level. Well, I got a feeling this update's going to get a few people's attention in places where I didn't want it. Let's go out in the Mojave Desert. Nothing could go wrong by looking up these earthquakes down here. Ridgecrest, California, right? Anybody who knows about Ridgecrest knows what's at Ridgecrest. So these earthquakes here that I'm getting ready to look up are taking us to, of all the places in the world, the experimental rocket test facilities at Ridgecrest, where they have all the electronic stuff here. If you don't know about what they do here, they do everything from rockets to Boeing and Raytheon. This is the military test site. That's what all these are, in case you don't know. And let me see if I can find a rocket firing location where they've done the rockets. So you can, here's one. Oh, this was one from the, hold on. Here's one. They'll put a rocket in there, and then they'll blast it out this way to test it on the ground to see if they work. So anyway, here is the big facility, Ridgecrest. This is where the big earthquake struck a few years ago, where I issued the forecast for that. And that's where the earthquakes come down and go to. They start back up to the northwest right here. Volcano Peak. So the earthquakes start at Kozo Junction, Volcano Peak, and then go straight down to the military test facility. Over to the east, I just showed it to you. 2 sets of quakes, Area 51 and the nuke test site electronic warfare range. There's just a few oddballs out that I haven't looked up. The ones out in the Mojave and a couple out here in Nevada. They're zeros and ones. I'm kind of striking out when it comes to just showing you natural quakes. Oh, God. Of all the places for us to go, Ludlow, California. There's a story behind this. Out in the middle of the Mojave, of all the places to go, we're going next to Pisgah Crater. This is Pisgah Crater. This is where I got my start in 2011. Radar picked up moisture coming out of the ground on a summer day, a lot, and it was blowing up and being taken by Santa Ana winds all the way over to L.A., and the moisture was dissipating by the time it got to L.A. Not clouds, it was actual water molecule moisture picked up on radar. We checked on visible radar, and there was nothing there to the human eye. It looks just like this. There's not a cloud in the sky on the day that this happened. I made a video on it in 2011. I only had a few thousand subscribers. And the USGS got a hold of my video and issued a full press release about my video being wrong. And they said we weren't witnessing anything from next to a volcano, that it was a thunderstorm most likely. But they had to delete their press release about me the next day because this carried on for 3 days straight from the same spot here, east of Pisgah Crater volcano. That's a lava flow out there in the desert. Now, there's a gold mine on the side of this place. And they had a helicopter landing pad even there. But it was coming from the east. This is the location of the Hector Mine earthquake, one of the biggest earthquakes in California's history. 1999. One of the biggest. It wasn't the biggest, but, upper 7 or something like that, mid-range 7, struck right here at this little deserty spot just east by southeast of the volcanic field back in 99. So we got a moisture plume of some kind that came out of the ground. USGS tried to make an example out of me, deny it as a thunderstorm, and then they had to delete their press release because it carried on for 3 days and it looked like, again, you're not going to get a thunderstorm forming for 3 days straight out of the same spot in the desert on a summer day when there's not visible clouds. Completely clear. Okay, anyway, that's where we just went with this new quake. But guess what else is right here? If I remember right, next to here are sets of power lines that go through the middle of the desert. Is that right? Yep. They sure are. And they go across the highway and carry on out into the middle of nowhere in the middle of the Mojave. So the power lines are there as well. Oh, right? We've got the volcanic fracture area, we got the volcanic plume location, and we got the power lines there. Crazy. And it's not like there's power lines that go all the way across all over the place in the Mojave. Let's go down to the south by southeast and just see what's down here at Thermal, California. Well, this is a bit like Geysers, California, I guess. Let's go see if there's anything thermal there worth mentioning. How about some mud pots, boiling mud pots that shifted down here at Thermal a few years ago? They have boiling mud pots that come up from the volcanic location here. But there's also something else here nearby that's worth mentioning, which is right across, right over here on the other side, which is 29 Palms Military Base. This is the U.S. Marines and bombing range and all that good stuff right over here. The Pinto Basin Salton Creek is the greater volcanic feeder for this. And thermal, let's just see if there's anything thermal there. There might be, there might not be actually at the epicenter. There's no way to know. There's nothing marked. The good news is there's no big power stations here, right? They don't have geothermal turbines here nearby, do they? No electrical generation here near going on? What's this? Ancient mill site? All right, I have to check and see. Again, if we had some kind of geothermal turbines here nearby, down here, we've got electrical generation going on. So all around the volcano down here, we have more geothermal turbines for electrical. And they're placed here. The volcano, Salton Sea volcano, Salton Buttes has been mined down and scraped down to get all the gold out of it. But, all right, we're far enough away from there that I don't think it's related to the power generation on the side of there. Unless there's more over here that I'm... Okay, all right. I am missing the huge solar farms that are placed here. Wow. Now, I knew about them on the south side. I didn't know that you guys were also doing them on the north side. Let me show you the south side down here. It's more exact. This is all solar. They've replaced their crops with solar. So I'm shocked to see it on the north side. I didn't know you guys were doing it up there. Okay, well, we've got electrical generation again on top of it all. This whole update has basically been showing you different forms of electrical generation stations getting earthquakes at them with a mix of smaller earthquakes of natural origin in between. That from volcanoes, no less. Let's go down into LA and go take a look and see what about these small earthquakes in LA. Surely we're going to find something down in LA. Marina del Rey, California. My West Coast viewers, well, first of all, look how many windows I've got open. Jeez. West Coast viewers, we're going to Marina del Rey. Let's go see what's there. Is there anything here nearby worth mentioning? Marina del Rey? There's the international airport. Right there. And our drill points are right here. So in case you don't know, the Baldwin Hills, you've got a bunch of oil and gas still going on there. It used to extend from there all the way down to the coast. And you had oil fields that used to encompass this whole area, especially where the international airport is. I don't know if it was already zoned or ruined land or whatever that they did the airport on, but whatever. That was one of the old oil places. But now the remnants are back behind it. Let's get a measurement tool and just see how far we are. It's pretty far. 9 miles? Well, I look 6 to 10 miles because they can drill down and at an angle. Theoretically, I think they could drill from over here, down, and over, underneath, out here. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Anything else going on? Well, let's carry on down to the south. Finally down at Salton Sea. So we trail out with our earthquakes down at the spot I just showed you where the solar panels were. All the way across the southern border, this is where it goes down to. Now, the rest of the earthquakes on here are on the San Andreas. There are no power stations, like I said, no big chemical facilities built across the San Andreas to the south. So all of these quakes here, single onesie-twosies, are small. Same with the ones along the coast here, going from the Bay Area along the creeping section of the San Andreas to our drill points. I would arguably say that those are the only ones that aren't truly suspicious going on here. Come on. Over at South Carolina, we're at the nuke power plant? Really? Up to the north in Canada, we're at some old depression that I somehow missed this entire time, but it's even visible here now when I look at it. This has just been a wild update. This really has been. I wasn't planning on there being this many different electrically induced earthquakes to show you at once. If you're in the United States and you're wondering why the professionals don't talk about this, do you know how much money is involved in the electrical business in general? It's got to be in the trillions overall. It's got to be one of the biggest, probably bigger than oil. Just a guess, but why don't they talk about it? Well, what are they going to tell you? That they're causing earthquakes? Or that earthquakes are attracted to where the power stations are? Then that would lead to what's being attracted there? A wave. And then that would lead to all the professionals being debunked because they said there was nothing that traveled anywhere and that earthquakes were random. But if they're random, why do they keep going down through Texas and up the East Coast every week for the last 12 years that I've been keeping watch? They're not random. They're following things like a river. All right, back to it. So this update has kind of gone off the rails when it came to telling you what's going on and showing you, but I'm glad I did because this is how you find things out. My forecasts are gone. I was the victim of at least one group harassment attack in the last 24 hours that literally filled up my chat room with weird religious comments, coming over, causing all kinds of problems, falsely accusing me of stealing from the big solar guy on YouTube, flagging down my videos with copyright violations, and removing the East Coast warning. I did not remove that. That should have millions of views now, and instead it's 0. There is nothing. It doesn't exist. So my video where I warned the East Coast doesn't exist now. I didn't do that. So forgive me for being a little edgy tonight, but the carpet got pulled out from under me again. All right, let's go ahead and save this. Glad you guys got to watch it. Glad you got to see it. Nobody would have believed me if I just came in and said, oh, look at all the earthquakes below the nuclear power plants. People would say that I was just cherry picking or something like that. Okay, or not. Not cherry picking earthquakes to make it look like there's a spread or anything. You guys are welcome to verify anything you want by either downloading a copy of Earthquake 3D or looking up the earthquakes yourself on the USGS site. I'm going to encourage you all to have an earthquake plan. You need to have an earthquake plan. You need to know what to do when an earthquake strikes. Don't run around screaming earthquake. Everybody already knows one's happening around you, most likely. So you should take shelter underneath a table or a desk. And then if you see people running around, you beckon them to take shelter with you underneath the table or desk. You should also have a change of clothes, set of shoes, flashlight. You should have an emergency kit that's got all the stuff in it that you need in case something happens, earthquake-wise, or natural disaster-wise, or man-made disaster-wise. Change of clothes, set of shoes, flashlight, batteries, first aid kit, sanitation. Any other extras that you might need, stuff to barter with maybe, and you might also need an extra ID and all the other stuff like extra set of keys in case you have to go mobile and you need to come back. Finally, you need food and water. And I tell my viewers this in almost every update, don't be scared. You need to be prepared. And being prepared will take the edge off any emergency situation that you go through. This whole solar thing is just the government trying to expand their power, guys. Now, they may even stage something or allow something to happen on that day or another day. It's not the first time that's happened. They did that. Not just the United States. This goes back throughout history. Governments let stuff happen to allow for themselves to have more control, to come in and control everything. But first, they got to let it get real bad, so you go call for their help. Anyway, that's the way it works. That's the way the world works, kids, in case you didn't know. I would encourage you to have a plan and be prepared for all sorts of things. Don't be scared, and you'll be way better off than a lot of the people around you who did not prepare for anything. You should have most of the stuff you already need around the house. So, extra change of clothes, extra shoes, flashlight and batteries. You're supposed to have this kind of stuff. And then for the food and water, I told my viewers, they said, Dutch, nobody's got any money. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Going to the grocery store, it's $450 to fill up a half cart. So the way you would do it is if you don't have cash, you'd hit the pawn shop. At least I would. What good are all the little trinkets and tools and all the other crap if everything goes to really crap and you need food? You're going to want food over those power tools. You're going to want food over that extra electronics that you had in your house that you could have sold a few days ago for at least a few bucks. It's too late now. It's in the evening and the night before the end of the world, right? Tomorrow's the solar eclipse. But I've got good news for everybody. Good news for everyone. If the end of the world doesn't come tomorrow with the solar eclipse, you can get yourself a t-shirt from the Dutchsense store to commemorate the solar eclipse. Check this out. How many people are in here? 6,000? Guys, look at the screen. I survived the 2024 eclipse, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. It comes in gray, blue, different colors of blue and white, and then also it comes in a women's cut, men's cut, and I will drop the link in the chat right now if you want to get it. Okay, so if you like the shirt, feel free to come over and show your support to the Dutchsense operation, and you can wear it proudly in the days after the solar eclipse. Oh, you like that? Do you? Do you? Please show your support. It's $29.99. And since you're all traveling around the world to go watch this solar eclipse, I know you all got a bunch of extra money to blow on a t-shirt. Oh, wait. That's my own voice. That you guys have money to blow on a t-shirt for sure. The media told me that millions of people are traveling to go watch the solar eclipse. And if they're traveling multiple states away and staying in hotels and renting cars and spending money, $29.99 is nothing. And you'll survive. One more time, we're going to drop the chat link for everybody to go get their t-shirt. It will arrive after the eclipse, of course. I'm glad you like it. Good, good, good. I'll be around. We're saving this as a video. I will upload it over to YouTube. Again, I'm sorry if I ranted a little bit, but I think I'm doing pretty good compared to other people. Much love, everybody. Peace out. Yeah, that is super freaky. The one that I clicked on, the nuke test, was from April 7th. Of all the times, that's never happened when I look them up. I mean, I usually find one with a weird name or something, but that's just April 7th. Wow. Well, you call that synchronicity. I would call that synchromystical, because we're dealing with Area 51 and the nuke test sites and the edge of the star fort that I didn't even tell you about. That's why Area 51 and the nuke test sites are there. The giant ancient star fort that's there. Oh, there's people in chat that don't know about the star fort. Really? Oh. Well, I could show you. There's a 300-mile-long star fort that makes up part of California and Nevada. It was built pre-flood. The military's aware of it, and they built bases on all sides and in the middle of it. Do you want to see? Let's turn off all our place marks and turn off all my stuff. I've showed this many times. This is the United States. We're to look just sideways view for a better view on this. This, I'll just draw it out for you. Here, up to here, back to here, down to here, and across the back. This is the Grand Canyon over here on the back right side of this giant 300-mile-long star fort. In the middle of it, right here, let me get my mouse on. Okay, so it's 300 miles long from back to front to the tip. At the tip of this is the San Andreas. In the middle of the tip of it is Edwards Air Force Base with a bunch of weird stuff. X marks the spot. We got the Air Force Base directly in the middle of this. On the back right side, back here, are the nuke test sites that I just showed you, plus Area 51. Here's Area 51. Here's the nuke test sites. Okay? So, nuke test sites in Area 51 are on the right-hand side of here. And if we go parallel across, over here is 29 Palms military base and bombing range for the Marines. So, military base on this side, over here. Actually, it's right here. And bombing range, nuke, and Area 51 on the other side. And in the middle, Edwards Air Force Base. That's the first one. Oh, and on the back side is the Grand Canyon. Back right side, Grand Canyon. Blown out on the back side, military base in the middle, bombing ranges on both sides. That's this one. There's two more. One in the middle of Nevada and one over here in Oregon. The one in the middle of Nevada is a little hard to see, but it's been weathered down. It used to be covered in water. But it does the same shape. I'll draw it for you. This one's more pronounced with the three military on all sides. This one goes up off of it, and it comes up to a pinnacle tip. Well, let me draw it. Up here. And comes back down this way over to here. And in the middle of it is another military base. This is the Sierra Army Ammo Depot and Bunker Storage Facility where they dug it in the ground there. Okay. Now, wait a second. On this side is the Area 51 in nuke range. What's on this side? Our biggest quarries in the United States. Mainly for copper. Okay, there's the third one. The third one is more pronounced, and you can see it a little bit better than the one in the middle. And it's over on the right-hand side, and it points up to Bend, Oregon up here to Pinnacle Tip. And on the back side of it, you got two blowouts. Oh, the middle one on the back side of it has Salt Lake City, blowout, or depression. Grand Canyon, back right side, blowout. Salt Lake City, blowout. And what's on the backside of this one? Yellowstone. This is Lake Yellowstone. Blowout. So you got 3 blowout points on the backside of the 3 huge star forts. Each one's 300 miles long. And what's in the pinnacle tip of this one? Not a military base. But it might as well be. Let me turn on our borders and labels. Your mind's going to be blown when you see what's here at the It's not a military base. It's the Apple data center and Facebook data center at the pinnacle tip of that one. So there's 3 ancient star forts that are 300 miles long. Military's aware. They got a base in this one, a base in this one, and a base in this one. Well, Facebook data center, whatever. So base, base, base. Blowout, Area 51, and quarries, the biggest in North America, and the military base on this side for 29 Palms Marine Base. On the backside, Grand Canyon, Salt Lake City, and Yellowstone. That's 3 of them. And then you've got the one in the Midwest, New Madrid on this side, St. Louis on this side, 5-sided, and it points in a direction to something that's just, if you follow this out like an arrow, it points to something down here along the coast, right to here. First of all, let me show you. We're going from the back, middle, right through the center middle like an arrow pointing somewhere, and it brings us to something that everyone said was a conspiracy, which is this weird underwater 5,000-foot deep area that they said was weird bathymetric measurements that were just wrong or something. But it turns out it's 200-foot mounds that are set out in a geometric pattern 5,000 feet down in the ocean. And it comes out there. That's where it points to. This points to there. This one, the military one, with the military base in it, it points somewhere too. Let me show you. We go from the back middle, and it points across the whole ocean to something. You ready? You're not going to believe where it points. Okay. Now, of course, all right, okay. It goes through Oahu where the cables go to, but it goes beyond there. Directly in the middle here. Look. Oh, I got to bring it to the right a little bit. Hold on. This is with the curvature of the Earth. Somewhere right in there. Okay. I'm proving this to you. This points to something. We're going right from the back middle through the center middle, and we go right out through the Hawaiian island chain. Where does it take us? Look where. 2 more of them on the other side of the planet to receive in the middle point. In between 2 more of them that are on the Indo-Australian plate that just so happens to be in a giant version of what we just looked at across the other way. They're opposing each other. And the military has to know because they've got the base. And then Facebook and Apple. Facebook and Apple. Dude. Oh, God. Seriously, you can't make this shit up. And there it is. Oh. And that the United States is its own giant pyramid with Alaska and Mexico, Florida and Nunavut, and then the tips are blown out here. One tip's blown out. And that Europe is one. Europe's a giant triangle, equilateral. Well, not just Europe, Europe and Asia. This is India and Russia, Saudi Arabia, and the Arctic Circle match. Look at the plate boundaries. It's a perfect match. It's like a Christmas tree. So Saudi Arabia, Arctic Ocean match. Scandinavia matches Turkey. Italy matches UK. And then here's Portugal and Spain. And Portugal and Spain make up. Look at this. There's Portugal, there's Spain. But notice the shape. How about what I just showed you in California? But this one's bigger. And this is not from farming. These are actual mountains. This goes up by like 3,000 feet from plain up to mountain. And same with on this side. And you'll see it's got the 2 tips off, just like the United States does, but the United States is blown off. One of the tips of the United States is blown out. Okay? So who built forever ago 5-sided star fort shaped plates that are the size of this. We have 3 pyramids going on here. Big pyramid, medium-sized pyramid, United States, and South America, small-sized pyramid. And at the tip of this, at Florida, is a star fort that we're told was built in the Civil War, which is a bullshit story. This is built in the Byzantine style, and they just came in and cut out spots to put cannons in the 1800s. Wasn't built by the Spanish either. And it's never been washed away in a hurricane. It's never been destroyed. And it's on the edge of the giant ancient star fort-shaped plate. What do you want to bet there's one that's way out here at the tip of Nunavut that we've never been told about? It's destroyed or something. Nunavut blown apart, matching Florida. Mexico matches Alaska. India matches Russia. Saudi Arabia matches the Arctic Circle. Turkey match, or Scandinavia and Turkey match. Italy and UK match. Spain and Portugal, the tip of the Christmas tree, if you will. And that points, if you draw a line from the back middle of here, and just pick the back middle and go through the center. And let's pick the middle so we got it somewhat eyeballed perfectly. Just go out through the center and look where it points. Make sure we're going through the center. There we go. Out through the center, look where it points. The closest spot to touch into South America, which is really pointing to the other plate that's broken apart. That's Africa in a giant arrowhead-like shape that's so big you can't even get it. Half of it's broken apart. And to prove this to you, let me show you. Here's the line of the plate that connects across perfectly on both sides. Is this the Atlantis that everybody would talk? Yes. In my opinion, this is. Because it's equidistantly spaced from back here, 5,300 miles, to back here, 5,300. So 5,300 this way, or 54, and 54 this way. I'm trying to measure it from far away so you can see it. So you can see how one side of the plate's more weathered than the other, but we're at 52, 53 to get to the backside there, and we're at 52 to 53 where we're at backside there. It's broken, and it's symmetrical, and they oppose each other perfectly. So somebody made these a long time ago. Certainly this one. Certainly this. And certainly, I don't think these are natural formations. Why would the military build their bases in the middle of them, guys? People try to say they're natural. It must be natural cymatic formation. No way. The military is building and blowing them up, too. No, these have to have been made at some point. They're too symmetrical. 5-sided pentagon, 300 miles or more long, some size of plates. Whole plates are made that way, and then there's microcosms inside of the plates that are made that way. So the one that's inside of the plate, we have a 300-mile long. Oh, and this one's 300 miles long, and these 3 are 300 miles long. So we got a common denominator on the 300-mile long thing inside of the plates, and then our bigger plates themselves are made up of them. They're inside the bigger plates, but they're pointing the opposite direction. It's like some kind of opposing wave or frequency that was being used through the plates. That's most likely the cause of these. And the one that really seals the deal is Antarctica. Antarctica is just the same shape that I just showed you in California and on the New Madrid seismic zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5-sided pentagonal. The plate boundaries make it up. It's geometrically equilateral, if you will. I mean, it's the same distance on all sides. And then the distance from back here, where they've managed to take a whole bunch of boats for some reason and get a perfect image of this undersea mount here. If we measure from the imaged undersea mount that they've, for some reason, gone out in the middle of the ocean to get an awesome view of, at the plate boundary on the backside of Antarctica, and we go right through the South Pole, this is the South Pole in case you didn't know, We go right through the center of the South Pole. Look where it takes us. You go from that, look. It goes out to the pinnacle tip, and we're at 6,661. And the curvature of the Earth is messing with me trying to get that perfect line through the center there. But you see it. From back to tip, 5-sided pentagon making up all of Antarctica now. The outside edge of Antarctica, the plate boundaries, 6,660 miles long. I mean, whether you measure a couple miles off or not. I mean, so 5-sided pentagon-shaped plate for Antarctica. 5-sided pentagon shape in the plate of the United States in the New Madrid. 1, 2, 3, just like Antarctica. Then the 5-sided shape built into the plate here, here, and here, blown out on the back side. Then Spain, same shape. And then the plates themselves, the greater plates, I mean, same shape, same shape, same shape. Well, these are the three pyramids make the greater, what I'm talking about here. So, in other words, somebody made this a long time ago. That's my conclusion. People ask about the Pacific. What about the Pacific? More. There's more. It's the same. Check it out. Here's Australia. Here's Fiji. Here's the Hawaiian island chain. Here's Hawaii. Here's the pinnacle of the Hawaiian island chain bending back over to Kamchatka. And what you should be able to notice is that they oppose each other, just like the plates that I was telling you on the other side of the planet. Now, in the middle, in between this tip and this tip, are the 3 biggest supervolcanoes on the planet. Tamu Massif is the one in the middle, right here. This is Tamu Massif. The other one over here I don't know the name of, and the other one over here is more ancient look, but you can see it. So really, there's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, in between these 2 opposing sides. Now check this out. This is what I found. Down here, coming off of South America, to see this, we almost have to look a world away. It almost looks like an avenue coming off of South America and making a bend back over to our 3 supervolcanoes with 2 opposing sides. Now, this is the weirdest thing in the world. This is 2,000 miles wide from here to here. I'll just show it to you so you can see it. Just roughly. See, 2021. I'm just roughly measuring. We can do an exact measurement, but what I'm going to prove to you is that it's the same all the way across. 2021. See? 2021. Then we get to the point, but on the other side, 2021. Well, that's 18, but 2021. And then it opens up to the 3 blast zones. So this, what looks to me, we go here. This is ancient. This would have been an ancient wall of some kind. Then we have our opening or our port, but the undersea mount comes right in to the tip. It carries on, but comes down, over, back, and across. And then the second one goes the same mimicking pattern. So I found something about this, and this is where we really get weird. This is where at this point in what I'm showing you, you should just your mind should be exploding right now. You'll be like, "What are you talking about, Dutch?" So coming off from over here, we're going to zoom in. Do you see where it says Ascension Island? Do you see how it's somewhat in the shape of? Here, let me turn it. Of an arrowhead. This way. It's symmetrical. I know. You're just going to say, oh, it doesn't mean anything, right? It's just chance that it's shaped that way is what a lot of people say. Okay, I'll go with you for that for a second, but we're going to debunk the just chance thing in about 2 seconds here. Because we're going to measure from the center of the island, or the edge. It doesn't matter if we go from the center of the island or the edge of the island. We're going to go over to South America, to the coast. See how it says 1,400 miles? 1,404. Let me get it right down the coast. From the center of the island to the coast, it's 1,400 miles. If we go from the edge of the island, it's 1,400 exactly. Why does that matter? Keep 1,400 in your mind. Remember the number 1,400. It's 1,400 miles from Ascension Island to the coast of South America. Now look. See this place called Rapa Nui? Look at it. Oh, wow. Hey, what do you know? It's in another triangle shape. Now we're going to measure from just the center of that triangle over to the west to the next undersea mount chain. Now, there's two ways to do this. We can go straight from Rapa Nui, or we can go from in the middle of the volcanic chain. Either one. Let's go from the middle of the volcanic chain so you know I'm not cherry picking. We're going to measure from the middle of the volcanic chain at Rapa Nui and Salis y Gomez, and we're going to measure over to the Pitcairns. Well, I'll be darned. The middle of the Pitcairns between the ancient seamount and the new one. Look, 1,400 miles again. It's just got to be chance. Well, let's go and measure again 1,400 over to the west and see where that takes us. Wow. Look where that takes us. It takes us 1,400 into the middle of French Polynesia, right down to the tip of this island that's shaped like an arrow. And all of French Polynesia is shaped like an arrow, telling you which way to go next. And we go out the tip of this arrow, 1,400 miles, and where do we go? You ready? Your mind's going to be blown. 1,400 miles to the west. Right in the middle of the next volcanic island chain, which is American Samoa, which is shaped like the island that's out in the middle of the Atlantic, Ascension Island. And it's pointing like an arrow. So wait a second. 1,400 miles from Ascension to South America, 1,400 miles from Rapa Nui to Pitcairn, 1,400 from Pitcairn to French Polynesia, 1,400 from Pitcairn to French Polynesia. That takes us over to Fiji, to American Samoa. 1,400, 1,400, 1,400, 1,400, 1,400, 1,400, all the way back over to the middle of the Atlantic. And they're all pointing in the direction of where you need to go next to get to the nearest point of land. As opposed to the furthest inlet or something, it's pointing to the closest point of each next plate. That's proof that they were placed there like outposts a long time ago and built that way. Now, let's show you one more. This one is proof that ancient people knew about this and used it. Micronesia. We came over here into the islands and blew the hell out of a lot of the islands, but we need to go to the actual island of Micronesia here. And let me just bring this in due north. There we go. Micronesia is an ancient weathered pentagon shape. Now, before you say I'm just seeing shape, well, I mean, it is the shape. You can see the shape. But over here on the right-hand side of the old pentagon shape is an ancient star fort called Nan Madol. Nanmadol. And you can see it still in the ocean and built into the edge of the star fort, built into, this is miles long now. Let me get the measurement tool out. Here's a quarter mile. And then you can see it out in the ocean as well. Here's a half mile. Okay. Now this, it goes all the way out to the ancient tip, but they built, we're told now, that they built a thing for their king here, and that the king was honored for them to build this giant hexagonal basalt structure stacked for the king, they said. That the islanders made this in the shape of a star fort just by chance, in the shape of a bastion fort. That's the explanation for this place's existence. The star fort that's miles and miles and miles long, made of hexagonal basalt, on the side of Micronesia, which is made in the shape of a pentagon. This was made a long time ago by someone or something and hidden. We did all of our nuke tests out here at the Bahama and so forth, or not the Bahama, Bikini, at the Bikini Atolls, which were ancient star fort structures that we blew up on purpose because obviously they were still intact. So at Bikini and the others that were out here, you'll now be able to see that this was a symmetrical star fort and they blew it out, and they did several others. Anyway, the ancient man-made islands that were built across the planet a long time ago, 1,400 miles spaced apart, are proof that there was a civilization that was manufacturing full-on huge mountainous islands on their own somehow. I propose they're using frequency of some kind, obviously. Using some very low, ultra-low frequency somehow. And they were channeling it through the plates. That would give them enough power. Mother Earth would be the power source behind it, but directing it from the five-sided star fort here at Antarctica over to be received on the edge of the avenue of India, comes in this way, goes in, goes out, feeds power to the other plates, goes out this way, connects to this plate, goes out this way, connects to this plate, goes out this way, connects back into this, which then feeds it back into the loop this way, that goes back and goes back and goes back and goes back, and out the tip, which then connects into the other one that broke apart, which is submerged, which you can barely see, which I think would be Atlantis, which would be half of Africa is above the water, half of it's below, and it's the biggest one of them all. And on the backside of it, I mean, we could go into that, but this is the only one where I don't have, anything to look at out in the ocean except for a giant fracture that goes right through the middle of it, and it's submerged thousands of feet. There's no way this is chance. There's no way it is natural. 2,000 miles across perfectly, an avenue with blast zones in between them, opposing forces on opposing sides. Yeah, this to me looks like somebody had a falling out a long time ago, whether it was electronic, frequency, or war, or all of them, or God. This is proof that these were manufactured a long time ago, or made, the plates, which means the planet was made. And that fits. Or Matrix. Those are the options. I'm sorry if that confronts what you believe, but those are the options. Somebody made the plates a long time ago. It means the manufacturer of the plates. Is your mind blown? Hey, anybody watching right now, let's go over to the YouTube chat and just check in and see what's going on. If your mind is blown, press 1. If your mind is not blown, I guess press 2. I guess you're hard to impress if you're pressing 2. Like, man, I'm not trying to impress you, but you should at least have your mind blown by that, because that means it's all fabricated. And if it's all fabricated, that means everything that you were told was a lie. By some other people who said it was all natural. But who had the power to shape and create plates? Man, this gets into some Anunnaki Nephilim stuff. The damn long skulls and giants and titans and stuff that you don't want to know about, because, man, your world will get really complex real quick. Possible natural? Not with the military doing their bases there. Nah, not natural. The plate's 6,660 miles long? No. All being hidden? No. Why hide it? If it's natural, why hide it? So that rules out natural. Hiding it, secret societies. Oh, that's the other thing. Some secret societies are using the symbol. 6,660 mile long plate down at Antarctica, and all destroyed and military involved. Put that all together, we got ourselves a real world conspiracy. Like literally real world, like as in the world. I can't believe I found all that crap. You guys want to see a fun one? You want to end this little update here with a little fun one that I found? A lot of my viewers already know about this, so this is going to be old news for a lot of you. So while I was researching star forts, I ran into a bunch of people who said that these were just natural shapes. Okay? Same for like down in Florida. When the people who are just saying, oh, it's just a hexagon shape because that's the defensive barriers, Dutch. That's what they do. And I'm like, yeah, okay, look, if you take into account the other things that we found, it starts to look like maybe that there's some kind of conspiracy going on here to hide these things. That they're That's not natural. I don't know. Anyway. The one that I showed everybody as a joke, I got in trouble for. So everybody said that it was natural shapes with the star forts or that they were just for bastions or whatever. And I was looking at an earthquake in North UK that struck up in Scotland. And that the bastion forts are just for defensive purposes, they said. So I'm up here and I'm looking at earthquakes at a place called Aknaha Crater, which is right here. And this is an ancient volcano from a long time ago in northwest Scotland, in case you don't know. Here's our borders and labels and places. See, Aknaha. And in there are the volcano cabins you can stay at. Anyway, volcano, northwest Scotland. Earthquake struck next to it, leading me to look up in the area. And I was looking across the area, and I saw the town of Inverness, and I zoomed in, and I was just screwing around, and I saw Loch Ness. Loch Ness Monster, right? So I'm like, oh, there's Loch Ness, there's Inverness, and I just zoomed in on it, and I hadn't really looked at it on satellite. And I saw that they had a bastion fort there. And I started to look at it, and I just wanted to get a better view on it, so I turned it. And I noticed that it was in the shape of a dragon's head. Now, I was live when I saw this, and it's in the snout of the dragon is right here, and in the snout of the dragon is a church, St. George Church. This is Fort George, Scotland, and it's the Highlanders Museum now. It's also a place where the Black Watch's Special Forces is stationed. But nobody knew this was in the shape of a dragon's head. And when I made my video, people denied it. And they said, if it was a dragon's head, professionals would have... And professionals hadn't noticed at all. So this place, St. George, is famous for slaying the dragon. And in the church, they have a stained glass of St. George slaying the dragon. So Fort George has St. George slaying the dragon in the church, in the snout, and nobody noticed that this was a dragon head shape. So when I made my video, people denied it. They said I was just seeing shapes and that this was just a star shape. I got in trouble. My video got shadow banned and censored and buried and pigeonholed. People went to the museum to ask. They said they didn't know anything about it. Don't know anything about it, mate. No, they didn't say it like that. I can't speak Scottish. But you can imagine the gaslighting and denial that's going on while they're trying to deny that this is in the shape of a dragon head. And you can go find my video and look at all the people going off on me down below saying I'm seeing shapes. It just so happens that it's at the mouth of Loch Ness, that it's in the shape of a dragon head. It just so happens that the dragoon horse riders were stationed there in the 1700s and that they built it 400 years ago, and it just so happens that it's at the mouth of Loch Ness, the shape of a dragon head, and Fort George, and the stained glass, and the. Showing you that kind of stuff when I find this kind of stuff and it gets denied. Weird, right? How did everybody miss it? Dude, it's at Loch Ness. It's in the shape of a dragon head. How did everybody miss it? They didn't. Secret society stuff's involved there, guys. It wasn't missed by all the professionals. They hid that shit. And I found it by accident and went public with it, and they tried to deny it. Fun stuff, right? Yeah, I'll put that in my book of discoveries. The earthquake guy found the Dragon Head Fort. Fort Dragon Head is what you call it now. Now you call it Fort Dragon Head. You don't call it Fort George. And when you go there, if you ever go there, make sure to give him shit. Make sure to give him shit. Tell him Dutchsense says hi, too. And I'm going to start making my own commemorative ashtrays to sell for the thing. They can put them in the gift shop. All right. Okay. Anyway. You guys enjoy that update? Okay, we're done. I'm out of here. Peace out. Much love. Any seismic happens, I'm back on at a moment's notice. And we will get that video on YouTube at some point here in the next hour. The one that I recorded. I'll be back. We're going to listen to some music in the meantime, so you can stick around. I might have some good jams coming on here in a second. Hold up, guys. Hold up. Kyushu just got hit. Kyushu just got hit by a magnitude less than I was expecting. So here we are. Check it out. Just hit 5.4. We were looking for up to 6.4, basically. So it's a magnitude less than what I was looking for. This is good. This is good news. For me to be a magnitude under at Kyushu, this means I'll most likely be a magnitude under down to the south. So the forecast was for up to 6.5 at Kyushu and up to 7.8 in Philippines. Now we can adjust that. It looks like if it's a magnitude less here, it should be a magnitude less down to the south. That means 6.8 in Philippines. It's still a huge earthquake that'll hit Philippines. But the good news is that we're a magnitude under at Kyushu. But it's a perfect hit. Look where the middle point is, where both sets of rings overlap. This is the area that I told you to watch just in my update no more than an hour ago. But I also issued the warning 2 days ago, and my videos are gone, obviously. But there it is. There's the quake we're looking for. Just now struck at 1:25 UTC. It is 10 minutes ago, 9 minutes ago it hit. Boom, there it is. Check it off the list. Real time as I'm sitting here talking to you. If you were skeptical on earthquake forecasting, I already published the method for you to test and repeat. If you want to just do it on your own, it's not even that hard. You should be able to. If you're an egghead, you'll pick it up real quick. It's standing wave principles. It's just the middle points are hit between current earthquakes. It's not even that complex. All right, word up. There it is. Boom, hit while I'm on live. Boom. Thank God it's a magnitude under. But they felt it. South Japan, Kyushu. Okay, all right. I will be back. Let's get some music on.
your heart will show you the way. It's only a sad and cloudy day. Playing in the shadows in the heart of the night. You leave your problems and your cares behind. It's easy to catch my heart on fire.
Yo, guys. If you like the music, I'm going to drop a link in chat. You can download or listen. This is Pentium 2. Check out Pentium 2. We're just killing some time here, getting a set up so we can play. Bella Vanity. Check them out, guys. You can get their whole collection for like $6. If you like 80s. Okay, we're going to get things going here. Again, if you like the vaporwave music, I always try to show support to artists, guys. Like that kind of stuff. If you want to check out my Bandcamp page. Yeah, that time at Bandcamp, you know. Let's go over and get that. Hold on. Excuse me. Coughing into the microphone. Real professional there. That happens. There we go. There's my Bandcamp page. And from there, you can find thousands of artists of albums that I bought, which I've shared. You can usually listen to most of them for free. You don't even have to have a Bandcamp profile. And if you want to download them and, of course, buy them and stuff, you have to set up a free account. But I don't get anything for recommending it, guys. But you won't find alternative artists anywhere else. There are no record stores anymore, really. And they don't play stuff on the radio. And, yeah, you either have to know somebody or hear it somewhere or... Anyway, go check out Bandcamp if you don't know about where all the artists upload their stuff. If you like DJ mixes, you should check out Mixcloud. It's like SoundCloud, but for DJs. And you'll find all kinds of awesome mixes that you can listen to as well on Mixcloud. I don't get anything for recommending them either. YouTube needs to have something like this, where DJs can safely upload and put their sets where you don't have to worry about a bunch of weird copyright false flagging of drum beats. YouTube flags drum beats. So, like, you guys know that drum beats are shared across all genres, and so it'll identify a beat and then flag your song for that. And then give the money from your revenue, from your stream, to that artist. Even if they, you know, like they'll take hours of my revenue and give it to an artist if I play a beat that it identifies wrongly. YouTube's got to fix that shit. That's why there's no live music on YouTube. That's why nobody wants to do anything on YouTube music-wise, except for big labels. Anyway, all right. Enough complaining. Old man, you can tell who's into music and who's not, right? All right, let's get her rocking. Let's get something going here. Talking is not exactly rocking, is it? We're waiting for Seismic to pick up. I'm uploading my video to YouTube now. It's taking a long time. We're at 59%. It says it has 8 minutes left for some reason. All right. So we're uploading to YouTube. That's the update that I did where I warned Kyushu, for instance, which has now been hit. So by the time people see this uploaded to YouTube as a video, Kyushu's already been struck. Whatever. I also would like to thank some of the viewers who have given. Looks like a lot of activity has been going on while I was live. So Elizabeth Jansen, new member. Sean, $5. Thank you. Says don't give up. MMNNJ, $10 with a little super sticker jumping guy. T in Arizona, we stand behind you, Dutch, for showing the truth. Thank you. That's $20. Jacob Martin, $10. If your warning video, the one that disappeared, was the stream titled Taiwan Unrest Will Spread in the Next Several Days. I have the URL showing the video was removed by the uploader. Yes, I removed it. Yes. My videos that are gone, except for the New York warning from 8 days ago, or 9 days ago. New York's warning was 9 days ago. It's gone. I didn't delete it. It's just not there. I don't have the URL for it.
Hey, Max Homa.
Hey, Max Homa.
Max.
What now, guys?
You should make us your own personal golf announcers.
Your golf balls.
X-Golf golf balls.
Who knows golf better than us?
Professional golf announcers.
I'm getting a drink.
Play the world's best courses while experiencing food, fun, and the most advanced golf simulators only at X-Golf.
Choo-choo to the putting zoo.
No one says that.
Not yet.
X-Golf. Play, train, entertain.
It's just a nightmare. It was a freaking nightmare. Falsely accused of theft from the big solar channel on that video. 15 minutes of my video was responding to the false accusations of theft